So welcome all of you for this dashboard designing and reporting techniques. Today we're in session 5, right? Today we'll be learning about the charting techniques and advanced charting techniques. We've already learned about the charting techniques in Excel. Quickly, I'll just recap few things so that the people who have not attended that session, so they'll understand how actually we can start, working on the charts. Okay, so there are many tips and tricks which I'll be giving you how to work on the advanced charting techniques. Let me open this one file which I have, which I'll be sharing it with you anyways. Okay, so here I have few charts from very basic simple charts to very advanced charts. So first of all, let's understand what this chart is all about. I have a number or say I have a data which I need to show that in a pictorial manner. When I say pictorial manner, so I can make it as a picture and I can show, but that's not be dynamic. Because when the data gets changed, the chart also should get changed. So that we have to create because whenever I'm showing any reports in a dashboard, that should keep changing based on the filters what I apply. Okay, so there are a lot of things which I'll be discussing today. So please concentrate. So first, let's go with some of the charts. Most of the people actually they'll create the charts. When I say create reports, what they'll do is they'll start creating column chart or pie chart. These are the two charts what commonly people will use. Or sometimes they'll use line chart, but they don't know when to use this line chart. First, try to understand when and in what situation, what kind of charts you have to create. Blindly, don't just take the data and start creating whatever charts you want. So it's not the right way. Whenever I'm showing some reports, you should be able to understand the data what I'm showing. So what kind of charts I'll be creating. Okay. So here I have few charts which I'll be just showing you because this already most of the people knows, but I'll just brief it. But the main topic is we have to go to this advanced charting techniques because that is what actually we'll be using in our dashboards for showing advanced reports. Okay. All right. So let's say I'll go with very basic thing, very simple thing. Now, if you see, I have a data here. So I've taken this from the real data, what I have here. I just used, some summarized formulas or say pivot table to create this. So I have some data here. You can see that I have the data which I've arranged. Now I need to create the report for this or say chart for this. What chart I have to create? Okay. So just observe this. See, I have a chart, I have a data here. I need to convert this data into a chart. So here I have one data set. Here I have one data set. So I need to convert this into chart. First, I have to understand what chart has to be created. Now, if you see this, I'm trying to see this data. I'm trying to compare the regions here, right? Each region I'm trying to compare. So keep in mind, whenever I want to compare the data, so here we call these things as entities. Okay, so it can be the region name, it can be the product name, category name, or anything. So we are trying to, in general, we call it as entities, and this one we call it as series. Right now, if I have anything like this, where I have a data, the entity to be compared with one series, then I can use column chart, pie chart, or bar chart. Any charts I can use. So what I'll do quickly, I'll just select this, how to create the chart. Either you can keep your cursor somewhere here and go to this insert, and here I have the charts tab. Click on this, and here I have a tab here where I can create the chart. So here I have this column chart. I can create the column chart. Let me go here, say insert, and here I'll go and I'll select this. I'll create a column chart. See, I clicked on this. This is the column chart. Now quickly we'll understand the elements in this particular object what we have created. So let's assume that the chart what I've created is an object. So for this, I'll not explain for all the charts because it is common for all the charts, but try to understand the elements. People who are writing the exam, that is MO200 or any other exams, these things are also very important. So concentrate on this as well. Now, if you see this, this is an object where I have so many elements in this. Let's try to understand the basic elements what we get once we create the chart. Now, if you go here and check, see this one, this is called as the chart title. Okay. Now you can see here this one, this is grid lines. This is series. This is values. What values? The axis values, y-axis and x-axis. So this is x-axis, this is y-axis. Now I studied about the basic elements what I get by default when I create a chart, but there are more elements which I can create. What is that? Can you see this? There are three icons here, right? These three icons are the support icons which actually will help us in create, adding more elements in this or formatting my chart. Okay, we call it as helper icons, where I can go here, I can click on this, see, there are more chart elements. Now I can see that I have this axis, and if I move my cursor, I'll get one small arrow. Click on this, can you see this? I'll get this primary horizontal. So here I have this primary, vertical and horizontal. So if you think I want to get this secondary, click more option, I'll get secondary options as well. Okay, right. For this axis title, can you see that I have this axis title? That is, we have this primary and vertical. So if you want this, see, I'll go here. I'll select this. The title. If you want, I can change that as well. Now, let's say I want this chart title, already it is enabled. So where do I want that? Say above the chart, center, or more options. You can go here, you can adjust. So likewise, I have many other chart elements which I can go, we can enable them or disable them. Now, suppose if you think there is something called as legend, I'll show you in another chart, because here if I take the legend, I have only one series. There is no meaning in taking the legend. So I'll show you that in the next chart. Suppose if you think I want to get the table here, say data labels and data table, you can see that I'll get the table also. Understood? So you want to add more elements. So you can go to this, click on this helper icons, these icons, and you can get more elements. Suppose if you want to format this, either I can go to this chart design, yeah, this more designs here, I can select here, or I can click on this, and here I have more designs. Right. Next, suppose if you think I want to filter, I can go here, I can filter the values as well. Okay. So these are the common elements in all the charts. So I've just told you. So if you think, you want to explore, you can go and explore in all the other charts. I'll not go and teach now for all the other charts. Next, we'll see what data I have, what kind of charts I have to create. Done, all of you? Okay. Now, I understood about a chart and elements. Now we have created a column chart. Why did we created a column chart? Because we are trying to compare the entities. Understood, all of you? Okay. Now, if I go to this bar chart, here also I'll have a similar kind of data here. I'm trying to compare the entities. So now, if you go here, can I create a bar chart for this? Select this, insert, and here I have a bar chart. This. So what is the difference between a column chart and a bar chart? Column chart means we have vertical bars. Bar chart, say we have this bar chart, which is horizontal bar. If you go to Tableau, there we don't have anything called as column chart. There we call it as bar chart, that is vertical or horizontal, we call it as. But here we call it as column chart or bar chart, just to differentiate. So don't get confused. If people will say that vertical bar chart and horizontal bar chart, don't get confused. Vertical bar means it is column chart in Excel or Power BI. Horizontal bar chart means it is bar chart, which we call it in Excel and Power BI. Okay, right. Now I can create a bar chart here like this. But when do we create this bar chart? That also I'll tell you. First, we'll understand this column chart and then we'll go for bar chart. Now, here how many series I have? I have only one series. But go to this data. I have three different series. Three different series. Now I can create for this data. I'll go here. I'll create a column chart like this. See? Can you see this? So I'm getting three different series, right? And the same number of entities. Okay. So I can create a chart like this. We call it as clustered column chart. So this one and this one, they're called as clustered column chart or side by side chart, where I can keep my data side by side. But the same chart, the same data can be shown, with the total. Say, for example, if you go and check the central 501240, right? Let me add these three values. See, it is 501240. That means now the data has been split into three different series, right? Now this data, 5,01,240 has been classified, also divided into three different series. Now, if I create the chart, I can see that this bar has been splitted. But I want the total as well as the split. Now, what I'll do, I'll go here, select this, insert, and I will click on this stacked bar chart. So what is a stacked bar chart? Stacked means one above the other. So this already we have learned in our Excel class. Just telling you so that the next when you go to this advanced charts, there are so many things which are related to this. So I want all of you to know this from basics. Understood all of you? All right. So we understood, we created column chart for the number of entities. And if you have more number of series, then I'll go here. I'll have a stacked chart. Now can you see this? This is called as legend. Legend is nothing but a small description with some color code, which will, help us in understanding. So what, say for example, this one, this color, it matches with furniture. Okay, it's just a small description with the color codes. Done? Okay. Now let me go to the next sheet. Then we have the bar chart. When do we create the bar chart? Say for this data, I told for comparison, I can create a column chart or a bar chart. Let me select this data and I'll create a column chart. If I create a column chart, just observe, see here, the labels are not proper, very small. And it is very difficult for me to show that in the dashboard, or say, it's very difficult for a user to read it. If you have more number of entities, say more than 5, then try to go for bar chart. But again, you have to see what kind of reports we have. Then you have to select this. So I'll go here, say insert, and I'll insert a bar chart. Let me adjust this. See, don't you feel this is more better than what chart we had created previously, the column chart? So whenever you feel that there are more number of entities, make sure that you use bar chart. Done. When I have more number of series and more number of entities, select insert and I'll click on this stacked bar chart. Understood? Right. Pie chart. So when are we creating pie chart? Pie chart, compulsorily, it should have only one series, not more than that. It can have more number of entities, but only one series. Now I'll go here, select this, insert, and here I will select a pie chart. See, if I have more number of entities, if I create a pie chart, what happens? Go here, select this, and say insert. Here I'll say pie chart. See, can you see that? Is it understandable? It's very difficult to understand. That's why just blindly don't create charts as you wish. Make sure that you create charts such a way that it is understandable. Okay. So that means if I have less entities, I can either go for column chart or pie chart. But when I have only one series, I can create this pie chart and also column chart. But when I have more series, then I have to use column chart, not pie chart. See here I have more series, but I have only one entity, right? Let me select this and I'll go here and I'll create a column, say a pie chart. So in this case, I have more than one series, but only one entity. So either it should be more entities, one series, or one entity, more series. Understood? Okay. Line chart. Line chart should be actually created whenever you have something called as time series or a duration or a period. Say from January to December, I need to know how the flow is going. So what I'll do, I'll select this and say insert. And here I have the line chart and I'll click on this. See? If you want to format this, just select any of the elements and say control 1. Let's say I'll select here control 1. See, I'll get all the format. So I'll go to this fill. You'll have something called a smooth line. See, you'll have a smooth line here. Select. So you can have a smooth line like this. You can change that. Okay. All right. So line chart is nothing but whenever I need to have a flow, then I can use this. Next, spark lines. So what are these spark lines? This is a new chart. Okay, from 2013 and above, we find this Spark lines, and again in MS Office 365, MS Excel 365, you can find this spark lines. What is spark lines? Let me tell you. See here, let me select this, okay, and I'll create a chart. Say, let's say column chart. You think we are able to understand anything here? It's very difficult to understand. Okay, let me just change this to line chart and see. Are you able to understand anything? Very congested. Too many lines are there, and you can see there are some lines which are going like this. You're not able to understand properly, right? So if you have more number of entities, and if you think I want to create a chart, what I can do is just select only this part, only the data part. Go to this insert. Here I have the spark lines. Here I can create three different charts: line, column, and win loss. I'll click on this line or column and say column here, because it's not a duration. This is actually you're trying to compare between the entities here. So I'll go here, column chart. It lasts for location range. Let me select this. And I'll say, okay, see. Here we call it as in-cell chart also. Now suppose if I go here, say for example, I'll make it as 5,000. See, can you see that it's getting changed? So I'll make it as 15,000. Change it to anything, so it will keep changing. Like that. So this is called as spark lines. Can I change this to line chart? Yes, you can do that as well. Go to this, edit here, say change it to line. So in this case, line chart is not appropriate. You have to create the column chart. So depending on the data, you have to create. So suppose if it was like 2000, 21, 22, 23, and 24, something like that, some duration, then go for line chart, or you can go for the column chart as. Okay, done. Okay, next. So here we can create a dynamic chart for these three. So what I'll do, this one, anyways, we have the same thing in the next advanced starting technique. So there I'll tell you, because we need to understand about something called as user form control. So these three chart, anyways, it is there in the next file which I'll be showing you. Next, recommended chart. Now what happens? See here, I'll try to create one chart here. Say I'll go select this, say insert, and here I'll click on this. Can you see that? I created a chart, but when you see here, I have this accessories and things like that. That is for this one, right? You have the sales and discount. This is sales and discount. I can see the bar only for sales, but can I see this for the discount here? I'm not able to see. Why? Because the values are very less. So either what I can do it manually. Right click and say format data. Sorry, can go here, or do one thing. Right click, change series chart type. This is the easiest way. I'll change this to line chart and make it a secondary. I could have done the option which I showed, but this is very easy. So I can go here, change this. Now you can see that. Done. Understood? Okay. But otherwise, you know what happens if I'm actually doing something like this? It will take a lot of time, right? So what I'll do, I'll go here, select this, insert. Okay. So here we have this recommended chart. Let me click on this recommended chart. And you can see there are so many charts which automatically, or say the Excel itself will recommend. This is called as artificial intelligence. It is available from 2013 and above, not in the older versions. Let me go here. I'll just select this, say okay. See, can you see that? Automatically, it will give me the chart. Understood? All of you? So these are some basic things what you have to understand before going to create some advanced charts. So you should understand what are entities, what are series, how the series actually works, and all these things. If you understand this, I'll tell you any kind of chart, you can create very innovative charts as well. Let me show you some very innovative charts. Okay. Fine. See this chart. So this is a normal column chart. Okay. So everyone knows that how to create the column chart. I just go take the data and then I'll create a column chart. It's very simple. Previously we did, right? Selected some range, click on column chart, I got the column chart. Now suppose if I go here, click on the central, can you see that? You can see there is one arrow mark. This is like a loss. See? Profit or loss or something, I'm getting it. That is changing automatically. See, for example, now if you see in this case, it is green color, right? Now if I click on this south, see there is a loss, it is going like this. So if you see this chart, it looks very advanced, and if you feel that it is very, innovative or say very complex chart, nothing, it is very simple. I'll tell you what I have done. So first thing is this data, whatever I have, the same data what I've used for previous examples. So I've kept the data here. Okay. Let me, I will take some hidden data here. I'll just take all the data. Okay, so I'll just take this region, subcategory, sum, and profit. Okay, all these are actually the formulas. So what we'll do, we'll go here. Let's take this data. We'll take it in a new sheet. I'll just keep it here. Okay, so this is the data, right? So the formula what I've used here is for percentage equals this divided by the profit divided by sales, right? I'm getting some value here. Let me copy this down, right? Now let me convert this into percentage. Now what I want here is two series. One is negative and one is positive. Why? Because if it is negative, the color should be red and the down arrow should come. If it is positive, then it should be green color and the arrow should face upwards, right? So what I'll do, I'll say equals if this value, this is the percentage what I'm checking, right? Negative or positive. Say if this value is less than or equal to 0, then I will take the sales value because I want to show the arrow with the sales, right? Otherwise, I'll say NA. So what is NA? NA is nothing but it's an error actually, not available, which will not plot any points. Let me say enter. Can you see that this is negative? So I'm getting the value here. Let me copy this down. Just copy this down. So wherever I have this, so wherever I have the negative percentage, I'm getting this value. Then I will name it as N or say negative and positive. Now I'll say equals. If this value is greater than 0, then I'll take this value, else N. Okay. Now what I'll do, I'll go to this insert and here I have this table. I'll convert this into table. Why table? Because I need a slicer. For normal range, we don't get the slicer. So I converted this into table. Now what I'll do, I'll go to this insert. Can you see this? I have this slicer. If I click on this slicer, see, I'll take this region, say okay. Now you just observe before creating the chart what happens. See, can you see that? It is filtering, right? So I'll clear this. So what all columns I need, only those columns I'll keep it and rest all I'll hide it. I don't want this region, I'll say hide. I want the subcategory, sales. I don't want this profit and percentage. I'll hide this as well because I'm creating chart only based on these three things, right? Select and I'll say insert and here I'll create a column chart. Now if you see, we created a chart here, you might think, let me keep this somewhere here. I'll remove the grid lines. Now if you see here, I got the column chart here, but it's not giving me exactly like what I wanted, right? So what I'll do, I'll select one of the bars here, right click and say change chart type, right? Now here what I'll do is, I'll go here, I'll convert this negative into line chart and this positive also into line. Okay. Now what I'll do is, I'll say, okay, I can see that I'm getting this, something like this, right? Now I'll just click on one of the values here. Just see what happens. See. Okay. So before that, let me select this, right click and say format. So here we have something called as do not move or size. Why? Because you saw that, right? When it is hiding or unhiding, the chart is getting resized. So make it do not move or resize. And let me click on the center. See. Okay. Now it's the filter is happening. Now let me select this bar and then I'll say format series. Here, let's take the gap width little thicker. Yeah. And I'll remove the grid lines. Okay. Everything is done. But what about the arrow marks? I'll tell you. So what we can do, let's go here to this insert. Okay. Here have the shape. Let me take insert shape. Here have shape. Just taking one shape here like this. Okay. I'll go here. I'll make this as green color. And no outline. Keep this somewhere here. I'll make a copy of it. Just flip it. You know how to rotate this, right? We learned this in the previous sessions. And I'll change the color to red. See, I got a green color and a red color. So what next? I'll tell you. Let me just clear this first because we have all the series here. Let me select the line chart, right click and say format data series. Here I have this line. So I'll remove the line. I don't want the line. I'll say no line. So here I'll have only the pointer, right? The marker. Select another series here. That is for this positive. And here also, I'll remove the line. The lines are gone. Right? Now, select this green color arrow, Control C, and see this, you have the pointer. Click on that. Say Control V. Can you see that? Now let me select this, copy this, select here, negative, and say paste. Done. That's it. Now let me click on this. See? Can you see that? Automatically, that will change. So these things you should understand. That's why I told you should understand how the series actually works. If you understand this, all the charts are very easy. Right. Let's go to next one. Next one is the progress chart. Progress chart means what? How the progress is happening. Now, if you go here, I have one button here where I'll be keep on see. Let me just see. Once it becomes 75%, the color is getting changed. See. That means there are three categories. One is from 0 to 50%, from 50% to 75%, or anything above 75%. So these three things. Let me tell you how we can actually do. Okay. For this, what I've done, I've just taken something like this here. But don't worry, I'll tell you how to do this. Let's go here. I'll take three different series. What is that? One is progress below 50%. Then progress above 50%. Say greater than or equals to 50%. Then progress greater than or equals to 75%. So these three. So here what I'll do, I'll just key the percentage here. And here this should be. Okay. Now here I have a value. Let's say what is the progress and what is remaining. For example, suppose if it is like 85%, right? Then what is the remaining? So anyways, the chart will be always 100%. So what will be the remaining? I'll say equals 100% minus this. So it is 15%, right? So whatever value I give here, the remaining will be here. So I want to know this percentage falls on which category, right? So I have to write a formula here so that I'll get any of the values in these, say, what is that, area only. Okay. Now what I'll do, I'll go here, I'll say equals if, okay, this value, this is the value what I'm actually checking, right? F4, this value is less than 50%, that is this one. Less than 50%, then what value I need to get? I need to get this value. That is what is the percentage, right? Comma. Else, I'll say, or say we'll say blank. So it is blank because this is 85%. Now here I need to check two conditions. What is that? If the value is between 50% to 75%, right? Say equals if and this value is greater than or equals to 50%, comma, this value is less than this percent, comma, then I'll take this value, else blank, right? Now here, I can just copy this down, otherwise also I'll say, if this value is greater, say, and operator. This value is greater than or equals to 75%. And this value is less than or equals to 100%. Then we'll take this value, else blank. See, let me convert this into percent. Let me change this to 10%. Can you see that it's going here? Let me change this to 58%. See, it is going here. And if you go here and change this to 98%, see, it's going here. So here I'm getting this value in any one of the cells, right? But here the remaining part also should be there. I'll go here and say remaining is nothing but equals this value, right? Now whatever value I give here, say 45, can you see that I'm getting this? So total it is 100%. Let me go here and I'll say progress. And here I'll say select this, hold control and select this. Insert, and here I'll insert a donut chart. Can you see that? What is donut chart? We just have some hello space here. Right click and say format data series. I can increase okay, if you want, you can make it say 60%. Now, if I go and change this to 20%, see, getting this. Yeah. So what I'll do, this one remaining part, let me make it some light color. Say some light color. Okay. So this is for the first series. Let me make it as say 58%. See, select this, change the color. Okay. So whatever color you want, you can go and you can change here. It's a solid fill. Let me give some color like this. Just keep it like this. Okay. And then here I'll say 89%. Select this. I will just say I'll change here to 10%. This one will change the color to blue. Then we'll change this to 58%. Then so it's taking same color. I think I selected same color for this. Make it green color. Okay. Now let's see. Yeah. Okay. All right. So what also I did, I'll go to this developer, and here I have this insert and I have one button here. Let me just select this and put it here. So what is this button? Actually, I'll tell you. Let me remove the grid lines. So this one is actually used for changing the values. Okay. So this is called a spin button. Now let me right click, format control. And what I'll do is I'll go here. I'll say the minimum value is 1, maximum value I'll say 100. That is, we have the percentage, right? 1 to 100 only it has to it has to take. Now the cell link I'll give somewhere here. And then I'll say okay. We just see, can you see that? Getting changed. So here this one, whatever value I have taken, I'll say equals this value divided by, I'll tell you why I did that. Why? Because this is 19. If I convert this into percentage, that becomes 1900 percentage, right? So here what I've done, I've taken this, I have referred here and say divided by 100. Now you see, if I change this value will get changed. But when I change this value, here there is a reference. Now if I go here and keep clicking here, see, once it crosses, now what I can also do is I'll go to this insert shape, and here I have one text box. This text box, I'll put it here, say equals, and I'll select this. See, increase the font size, select, and I'll change this font, and here we change the font size. Make it bold, and then we'll remove the outline. See, if you go and keep changing it, see, like this. So you should understand. See, main thing is you should understand the series. So here we have this 3 series. So I wanted to make the value to fall under any one of these series. That's all is the series. You have to take some time only to arrange your data. That's all. So after that, it is easy for you to create the chart. Okay. All right. Let's go to another chart. Interactive histogram. Now you just observe. This is very interesting chart actually. This chart is fixed. But the thing is, see here, if I go in and click on this, the table is getting filtered here, depending on the value. So how to create this kind of buttons? Okay. So most of them actually, they don't know how to create this or say how these buttons are created. Some people, what they do, they'll create the buttons and write macros for this. I'll show you how easily you can do this. Okay. So first of all, what we'll do is, so this is actually a slicer, but I'll tell you how we can actually use this slicer. So here, let me take the entire data set here. Somewhere here, I'll just paste it. Okay. So make sure that this is converted to table. Otherwise, you cannot do that. Now here, what I have to do is, I have to get the range. Say if you go and check this, I have the range, say 0 to 999, 1000 to 199 or something. So how to do this? How to classify this? I'll tell you, this you cannot do it manually. For that, there is some simple thing actually. Let me just go here and I'll say insert. Let me create one pivot table. Let me convert this into range first. Take it as a value. Okay. Now let me just select this and say convert this into table. Okay, this is normal data now. Now what I did is I'll go here, select this, and here we'll create one pivot table. Okay, the same existing sheet let's create, and here I'll select somewhere here. So okay, now I got this. Now don't take this customer and put it here. Take this sales and put it. Take the sales and put it in this rows. Now here right click and say grouping. When I say grouping, you can see that it's asked for starting number and the ending number. Now what I'll do is I'll go here. I'll say starting from 0. I want this to end in 9,000. But it has to group based on say 1,000. I'm just telling, group the values, something like this. I'll say okay. See, can you see that automatically? Now I want to know how many counts are there here. I just go here and I'll take this customer and I'll put it here. Can you see that I'm getting the count here? I'm just telling in this range from 0 to 999, how many customers are there? From 1,000 to 199. That is the sales value. I'm just trying to categorize. Got it? So now I got these values here. I want to create the slicer for this. So for that, what I did, go here. I'll create one more range here like this, and that value I'll take it. Now, how to take this? Let me go here. I will copy this and I'll put it in a separate table. Okay. Now I'll put one range here, say 0, 1,000, 2,000, and I'll say 9. What does that mean? That means I'm just trying to take the range here. So here I'll say equals VLOOKUP of this value, comma, I will select this range, F4, comma, 2, comma. This time I'll say 1 approximate value. Don't take 0 because I'm not checking the exact value. This is for the range, what I'm actually checking, say enter. Now, if I copy this down, copy this. See, I'll get the range. So how does this actually works? When I use the VLOOKUP, say from 1,000 to 199. So this value, if the range is falling somewhere around 1,000 or something, this value will be assigned. Now I have this value, right? So I have this range. So what I'll do is I'll put this as range, and then I'll create a pivot table for this. Or I can create one range. Let me convert this into. There are some long process, but it's very interesting actually. So this one over here, and we'll try to create one pivot table. Let's say I'll take this customer and I'll take this sales and I'll take this range as my filters here like this. Or we can take, let's say, slicer. Okay, so I have the slicer here. Now just observe, see, you can see that I'm getting the range here. Now how to create a chart? Let me just keep this range here. Here I have the range what I've created, right? This one. For this, I'll create a chart. Go to this insert, and here I have this chart. I'll create the chart. Take this chart to the next sheet. I'll paste it here. And here, let me select this and I'll hide all the buttons. Okay. And we'll try to format this. If you think I want to format, I'll go here. Let me select some nice chart. Now let me just click on this. Take the slicer here, sorry. Slicer. Okay. Then let me hide this. And then this one, go to the slicer. Here I have this columns. Okay. Change this. So how many are there? Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just make it as 10. And say enter. And we'll go here. We'll try to adjust this here like this. So you should be very careful about this. Right click, slicer settings, and remove all these headings. Okay. Say okay. Increase this. And I'll keep it here like this. Bring it front and then I'll keep it like this. The slight formatting has to be done here like this. So if you think you want to remove all these borders and things like that, you have to go to this slicer and there is some slicer settings here. So you can create your own slicer here, or you can go to this new slicer settings and say, select this, say format. You don't want the border. Let's go here and remove the border. Say okay. Okay. Select now. Slicer. See, there is one new thing what I've created. Click on this. See, you have the slicer. Or if you want to do any modification, go here and then you can go to this, right click and say modify. So we have this. Suppose if you want to change this to selected items, what colors you want to give? So I'll go here. I want to change this to some color like this. And suppose forward. Say suppose if I move my cursor, say what it has to do. So I'll go here, the format. Let's say I want that to be black color. Like see, you can do something. Okay. So likewise, I can use the slicer for creating the chart. All right. Next one. Right. So here I have one chart. See, if I click on this, you can see that these charts are getting updated and also this is getting highlighted, right? Say if I click on this 2015, see 2015 is getting highlighted and here below I'm getting this chart that is 2015, there is a breakup, right? So how to do this? So let me just take the data, okay? So I have this data here. I'm taking this data to one sheet here. Let me just paste it. So what all I have year, month, and production. Say I have two charts here. One is based on year, one is based on month. So what we'll do, we'll select this. So we'll create two pivot tables. How? Let's go to this insert and I'll say pivot table. And here I'll say existing worksheet. That means I'll create the chart in the same sheet. I'll go to this location, click here and say okay. So here I'll take this year and production. Done. So I got one chart that is for the year what I have. Next, I'll select this. I'll create one more chart, say insert. I'll say pivot table, existing chart, say select and say okay. This time I'll say month and production. But for this, we need to link the year. So what I'll do, I'll go here and I will select the year. Let me take that year and I'll put it here like this. See, if I go here, say 2000, I'm getting this for 2000. Say whichever value I select, that should get updated here. So what I'll do, I'll go here. So I'll create one chart. For this one, we'll say like this. Say one is for the year chart, what you have to create. So what we'll do is say equals. So we'll say year equals this value. Okay. And here we'll say production. That is nothing but the next value. Right? Let me drag it down. So up to 2023, we'll just drag it down. Done? Okay. Now what I'll do, here I have that highlighting one bar is there, right? Say equals. We'll select this year, right? This is the year what I've selected. If this value, okay, is equal to this value, F4, then take this value, else I'll say NA. Let me copy this down. Just observe, if I change this value, say 2006, you can see that I'm getting this value. Right? So here, whatever year I'm selecting, automatically this value will come here. So based on that, I'm trying to highlight the bars. Done. This is one thing. Next, I have one more chart here, which will get changed, accordingly. So what I'll do, let me select this. I'll go to insert and I'll say column chart. Insert and we'll create a column chart. Okay. Can you see that I'm getting this one highlights here? Don't worry. So what I'll do, I'll right click and say change series, this one. And here we'll change this to secondary. So we'll go here. Say data series. We'll make it as 0 overlap and increase this. Reduce this. And we can increase this. We'll move the chart. See now what happens. You go here. If I change this to 2004, see, can you see that? Getting highlighted. Let's move this chart here. I'll keep it here. Okay. All right. Okay. Now, for this, I have a chart to be created for monthly wise. Select this. We can directly create a chart. I'll go here. I'll say create one chart. Right? Now hide the buttons here, or you can create, you can create a reference and you can create that also. But anyways, we have the series here. So again, I don't have to go and create one more chart. So this one, I'll just take it here and adjust it here like this. Like this. Okay. So if you want, you can just remove the grid lines, select here, right click and say format data series. I'll increase this. Done. Okay. Now what I'll do, I'll select this chart and then we'll say add a slicer. That is here. Because every time I cannot go and keep changing here. So what I'll do, I'll keep that slicer here. I can just move this. See. Click on this, see. So likewise, we have to, plan the series. The steps might be more, but you have to plan accordingly. Okay. So here, the next charts are very similar to that. So whatever we have this charting techniques, it's the same thing. Here I have just created by using this. drop downs. And if you go here, say I have a chart here, I can go here, I can click on this, I can get the charts. So how to do this? Let me just quickly show you. So what I'll do, I'll go here, I'll take this data. Okay. So quickly we'll take this data to another sheet. I'll paste it here. Right. So here I have the data. I need to create one chart here. So what I'll do is I will create one placeholder for creating the chart. I'll just select this and I'll paste it here. Okay. Now select this particular thing and say insert. I'll create one chart. This is static chart. Let's create a dynamic chart. I'll tell you how to create that. Go to this design and I'll click here. See. Right. Now I'll go to this developer. Insert. There is one drop down. Okay. Click on this drop down and I'll select this. Right click and say format control. And here I have this input range. Let me select the sectors what I'm actually selecting here. Okay. Now it asks for the cell link. I'll tell you what is this cell link. I'll just keep it here. Say okay. So what is that cell link? When I select this, can you see that it's giving me some index number? Let me remove all these values because now what I want is depending on this index number, I want to get all these values. Say I know the formula equals index of, this is my array F4, comma. It asks for the row number, I'm selecting this, comma. So I'm taking the column number, say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 like this. I'll say 1, say enter. Can you see that? It is giving me sector 12, something like that. Now what I'll do, I'll just copy this towards my right hand side. And here, sorry. We'll make it absolutely. So this will be second column. This will be third column. And then fourth column. Fifth column. And here we have this sixth column. And then seventh column. Right? Now if you go and change the drop down here, see. So what happens? The index number here is getting changed and these values will get changed accordingly. So likewise, there are hundreds of charts actually. Okay. There are hundreds of charts, but you have to go and plan accordingly. Say I'll go here. I'll show you next one. See, same thing. I'm using this list box. Same thing. It's a list box. Let me show you quickly. So here I have this drop down. Go to this developer and here I have this insert and here I have this list box. Let's put this list box. Right click, say format control and here I have this input range. Let me select this and then I'll say the link I'll give here. So see, can you see that? I just use the same thing. Now the same index number, if I click on this, the chart will get. So it's all about how actually you plan your reports. So anyways, I'll be teaching you all this in the reports as well. So here I have this option button. So if I click on this, I can get the sales and this one. So I have this checkbox where I can go here and select only those reports, whichever I want. Now, previously, before 2013 and all, we used to do these things. But now since I have this slicer, so we don't actually go with this. But still, if you think I want to have the checkbox, then we can use this. Otherwise, you saw that slicers. In most of the cases, we actually use slicers. So likewise, we have all these option, so you can check this. Okay, so I'll give this entire file to you. Just go and check, all the steps are there. You can work on that. But here, the main thing what actually I want to show you is you should understand the series, how actually these charts are. Okay, so there are so many hundreds of charts. So I try to teach you in the given time the possible charts. Still, we'll work on more other different way of showing the reports, because today I just wanted to tell you how you should plan accordingly for creating the reports, how we can arrange the data. These are all some common things which we'll be keep using in the reports. But people, I'll tell you, there are so many ways, so many things what actually you can plan accordingly when you are creating your own dashboard with the data what you. Okay, in the coming sessions, when we actually start creating the complete dashboard, this is like the previous session, we saw how actually we can design the buttons or banners or dashboards or something. And today we saw how actually we can start with our reporting with different charts, different techniques. But when it comes to the data, then apply that the dashboard inside that creating the reports. I'll tell you how actually you can organize and then create a complete dashboard. That we'll do in our next sessions. Okay, right. So I'll stop here. Let me go to this people online. I think very less people are there. Yeah, people online. You understood this session? You're there. People, you can unmute and you can answer quickly. Anybody wants to say something? Yes, no?
Hi, sir. Good morning.
Yeah, Bhartesh.
Bhartesh here. Yeah. See, earlier I know only pie chart and bar chart, the dynamic chart and all line charts. So I'm much not aware. I was not much aware earlier actually. So now I came to know the different charts and all those things. Today's session, it
And
is
people don't
very
worry.
good.
And people don't worry. There are some more charts. Okay, and apart from there are some more charts. I made a video on that. I'll send you that link as well. Go through that. The same file. I made one more video with so many other charts also. So I'll send you that video also so that we can understand about the advanced charting techniques, a little more understanding of the series and other elements. Okay, right.
Okay, sir.
Thanks, Bhartesh. Anybody else?
Thanks.
All right. So people, the next session we'll be learning about the dashboard plus reporting. That is how to you already know how to create the dashboards, designing, but now we also learned about how to start creating the reports. Then we'll see how we can implement the reports and the dashboards. In that, how to create reports. We'll do that by using this Excel and Power BI, because in Power BI directly we can create the reports. We don't have to do all these things, whatever we have done today. That's not required in Power BI. Directly we can go and we can create the report, because those kind of charts are already there. But for the Excel, we have to plan accordingly. But for Power BI, it's already like ready-made. We can just take and we can drag and drop. So there you won't find much difficult. Okay. All right, people. So thank you so much. So see you guys, tomorrow with more interesting sessions. Okay. All right.